It was funny.
Oh my God.
There was one time I was... That's how Genevieve tells a story.
Apparently.
A quick let you know the story's going to be funny. A giggle, a swallow, and then we get to start.
There's a formula.
Apparently it's like snorting.
Yeah, and what you guys can't see is there's a lot of hand chopping. So that's how you tell a good story. You're welcome. Welcome to another installment of Two Guns, No Ammunition. I'm Billy Two Guns. We are No Ammunition. We got a special guest here with us today, and we're going to get started with a quick mic identifier. I'm Big Billy, and what's going on today? What did I do good today? Ooh, I bought some tools off of Craigslist for a really good deal. How cool am I? I successfully didn't get murdered on another Craigslist deal.
Oh, you finally found that small engine you're going to rig to your dildo of choice?
It's going to be a large engine.
I see.
Yep.
Maximum.
And I prefer the dildos.
No, introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. My name is Matthew Shorman. I'm a special guest today. And I spent way too much money on a pair of shoes yesterday.
I'm Genevieve, and I tell really good stories.
The storyteller of the group, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm Chris, and I was going to say, Matt, those shoes are pretty dope looking. I was going to compliment them.
Thank you.
I'm Frank. I'm back from Scottsdale. I know it's been so long since you guys have heard my voice. I'm sure these shows were terrible without me.
We roasted you on the last one. I know you don't
They were the
listen
best
to them, but
episodes.
it was pretty
They're
good.
always the best episodes.
I don't listen to them.
I'm Jake, and that's okay, Frank.
All right. So Genevieve and I have been trolling through, looking at Netflix, and we found a couple of things in there. So I found recently I've had an issue picking a new show after I finished a series that I really liked, and I had a couple that had 6 seasons, and that's really what I'm looking for. I get a couple of weeks of content out of them, especially if they're hour-long shows. And I'll look at the preview, and it's like, the struggle of me or something. It'll be the title, and then it'll be somebody like
Her struggle, I tried to believe.
Yeah, her struggle, I tried to believe, and somebody standing really tall and proud with like a tear rolling down, and I'm like, I can just feel it in my bones. This is going to be like politically loaded and a ton of virtue signaling, and I just want to be entertained. I don't want to know anybody's take on the current social situation in my like half paying attention to relaxation show. And I realized that yet again I was wrong. So because I finally picked one, I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot. And the show turned out to be pretty fucking cool. We realized at first I was wrong when I avoided the Blacklist because I thought it was going to be a cringe fest.
Because of a fedora.
Because of a fedora, yes,
Type
indeed.
hat. I don't even know if it's a real fedora.
So that's a legitimate assumption, though.
But it's James Spader.
What about James Spader?
He has the pass on the fedora. Like, he can wear it if he wants.
How many seasons is the Blacklist up to now?
Oh my God.
6.
Wait, have they done 6 or are they renewed for 6?
I thought weren't there 6 seasons on the Netflix?
I can't remember.
I think I watched the first season of that show and said to myself, "Oh, I got it from here." What is this going to keep going?
Yeah.
How much longer is this list?
Dude,
it gets interestingly weird and
okay.
It's at 100 miles an hour the whole time.
All right. I felt like after a certain point in that first season, the
first season is kind of
there's the twist with
slow
the daughter
by comparison, but
thing or whatever, if I remember correctly.
No, her husband turns out to like work.
Yes,
for the
that
bad
was
guys,
it.
For the
whoever
government.
the bad guys are, because you still don't know.
He's a code inspector, and he
And I
never
was
told
like,
her.
okay. I was like, it didn't really pick up.
Yeah.
Season finales are so important now in the age of streaming. Like,
So we did get through that, so there's a lot more to check out, which you should. But I stumbled across, I have been skipping stand-up, which used to be my jam because everybody's got a political point of view now, and I just don't need that in my life all the time. So luckily I found, what was that guy's name? He's the actor who plays Huel in Breaking Bad. The really, really big fat guy who rolls around as muscle with Bill Burr. Is it?
I didn't even realize they're both comedians. Like,
Yeah.
That's great.
Genevieve, maybe you can look up his name.
That's what I'm trying to do.
But he had a stand-up special. I think it was from like the aughts, and it was unbelievably funny. He's got, I don't know if he has a lisp or if it's an affectation he puts on for his routine, but he's also like 500 pounds. So he sort of has to stand back like this, and he's just sweating the whole time, like, you know, talking with his tongue over in his mouth, and he's got this crazy accent, and the whole thing was a riot as soon as he opened his mouth. And then he starts telling stories about The Price is Right, and growing up, it killed me. What was his?
Lavelle Crawford.
Lavelle Crawford. Oh my God, check that out. But after that, I was like, I really don't have anything good to roll on to. Let me give another attempt at a show that I think is going to be a cringe fest. And we picked the show Bad Blood. And it has the...
It's not about Taylor Swift.
No, it's about the mafia in Canada.
And it's not
Okay.
Trailer Park Boys.
It's the guy from. It stars one of the guys from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
Yes.
the really beautiful man
With
who
the dog.
the really beautiful man who
The dog
dates the trans person.
Yeah.
Wait, Sons of Anarchy had a trans person in it?
Yeah.
Dated by a man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And my dad watched the show?
yeah.
Does he know?
Probably not.
He probably fell asleep.
I'm just gonna send him a text message that says it's a trap, and then let him figure it out like 3 years later.
So I picked it because that actor whose name I can't remember. We'll say it's Steve Buscemi.
It is not.
Right.
It is
Certainly
almo-
not,
it
but
is-
we'll say
yeah.
it is.
So I really liked him, and we gave it a shot. And I got to tell you, this show, it was a good time. There's 2 seasons out. It was enjoyable, but it seemed like it was made by some high school kids.
It was
who were
made
like,
in Canada.
Yeah.
It wasn't made by Americans about Canadians. Then it would be good. It was
No,
made by
Oh my
Canadians
God.
about Canadians.
which I was building to. It seemed like it was made by like high schoolers who had like watched The Godfather one time, because the main
Vito.
Vito, the actor's name is Kim Coates. It is a man. Vito, the main character, he talks like this.
No. Vito's the mob boss.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
The main mob boss, Vito, he talks like this. It's like a guy who saw a mob guy one time in the movies, and he said, "Hey, I can do that. I'm fat. I got greasy hair. What's up?"
We all know that when I'm not on the podcast, that's how I talk.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
this is a ruse you're putting on.
Vito's, oh, I'm sorry. He also does this kind of thing with his voice.
Oh, no.
So it's the mob, and Kim Coates is in it, and he's like Vito's number one. And then there's some other organizations. There's like the Irish, and then I think there's like the Black Gang.
Yeah.
They never.
Yeah. They never
Dirty
established
fucking
what.
Irish.
Well, no, in Sons of Anarchy, they're like, oh, the black biker gangs. And this one, they just never mention it. Just everybody in that gang looks the same. And then in
The Irish gang or the
they're
black
black?
gang?
the black
Both.
gang, yeah.
They all look the
Because
same.
one of them is racist.
Sorry, they all look. They're all have the same skin tone. And then,
But the Irish gang looks all the same
oh my God,
because they're
for
inbred.
Christ's sake.
No, he can tell the difference between them.
Anyways, and then there's also the French Canadian biker
The French
gang.
Canadian biker gangs. Now, if you thought biker gangs were intimidating, think again.
They've got Gucci leather jackets.
Oh.
Well, first off,
It's so unsettling.
I'll tell you with a Quebecois accent, you're like, oh, this leather they're wearing is actually not intimidating at all and kind of gay looking. Yeah, you, or however the fuck they talk up there. And they're supposed to be real hard, and it doesn't work out. It's a riot to watch a French Canadian
They have
biker gang.
perfectly coiffed hair even after wearing a helmet.
Yes. So the show sort of meanders on, and they have like these big reveals at the end, like Ocean's 11 style reveals, but I think they only have the budget for like a couple of actors. So like instead of having all this shit going on in the background, you see like one guy do one cool thing and then their buddy do one cool thing and they're like, that's it, we've won completely, everyone is dead. And you're like, are your gangs made of like 30 people?
It really was like
what?
And then towards the end, it was like 3 of the main characters, and that's it. Like no one else was part of this gang. It was just 3 guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's my question.
We run the town.
Is this mob in any way related to
who?
like Casa Nostra? Do they reference the families? Down
Yeah,
in New
yeah.
York
The
and-
Vito was like a real guy, and they had a mob boss, Sal, come up from New York.
Yeah, played by Paul Sorvino, who was in
I don't know.
Goodfellas and The Bronx Tale. He's a great actor. He looks like in the trailer I saw for the show. He looks like he's about to fall asleep. He's like in the car. He's like,
I mean, that's fair.
yeah, you do this for me. Just takes a nap. It really, that's what we were saying earlier. It just looks like Netflix is just buying up foreign shows and occasionally putting out some
Stuff.
garbage original content.
Why I enjoyed it, but probably my favorite part about it was when the scenes try to get really intense. Like, I think you could see the difference in the general disposition between like East Coast American conversation and this Canadian, because over here you're like, are you fucking motherfucker, blah 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 blah, and out there they're like, oh, you think you're gonna get away with this, you goober? You need to think again. And like that was I was like, wait, was that supposed to be super intense? Because everybody had sort of angry faces on. But yeah, it was. That was them getting like really super hype. And it just didn't ring true for
something else. Like
an American
they kept
group.
using a word like to call each other as a name
Nero.
that wasn't quite a swear word, but I can't remember what it is
Oh,
now.
like Battlestar Galactica with
But it was-
frack and
I mean, it might as well have been.
No.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It wasn't
like,
that much of an abortion. So anyway,
What?
That show was pretty
How
good.
dare you?
That show was pretty good.
exactly
We enjoyed it. And after Bad Blood, what did we move on to?
The Umbrella Academy.
The Umbrella Academy. Now, I thought this was also going to be a cringe factory, but we found the last 3 things that I thought was going to be a cringe factory.
We're not.
We're not. So we turned this on, and the first couple episodes were kind of slow, but it turns out to be like a superhero show,
Yeah.
but they're much more average. You know, they're not like my Batman.
You're
Not like
now?
my boy, my Batman, who doesn't have any powers, but he's really a good detective and rich. They're not like that. They actually do have powers, but the one guy's like, I'm very strong. The other girl's like, I make you believe these rumors. The other guy
Like
is like,
basically mind
I
control.
can talk to the dead people.
That's how he talks. No, it's not.
And they have him. This was the character I really thought was going to go down, right? Because he's like an edgelord. He wears mascara. He's like, I'm drunk all the time. I like drugs. I'm like, I've seen this character. Welcome
this is the
to
dead
the
people guy.
Yeah, welcome to the
Haley
cringe.
Joel Osment.
And then he turned out to actually be one of my favorite characters in the whole show.
Yeah, he had a good character.
Really
arc.
well written. I have got to get over this idea that goofy premises can ruin a show now, because we're at the point where everybody knows how to write a good show. If they want to take the time, they can write a decent show. Disney's been able to do it for a while, and Netflix can too. But we got through the first season. I really dug it. I thought it finished pretty strong. Definitely set up for a sequel, and I'm hoping it has one. But
It's a pretty bizarre show, though. Like,
yeah, you know,
the way the powers manifest, and I don't know,
they said
it's
it was
kinda
based off of
Dark Horse comic.
a Dark Horse comic, which I think I've heard of before, but I've never read.
I think they're like the third biggest, whereas like DC and Marvel are the 2 bigger.
Oh, Dark Horse. Yeah, Dark
Yeah.
Horse was like another. I think they got bought out by DC at some point and then sold. They're the smaller. They make some really cool. I think I want to say, and I'm sure someone will be extremely angry that I'm wrong about this. I'm pretty sure they published the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first. They did a lot of indies, like smaller runs of comics and stuff.
Which is really what this seems like.
They're
It's not-
not like there is no big 3
Yeah.
in comics. Like if you're the third person in comics, you are so far down on the rung. Like,
don't have
DC
to
and
worry
Marvel
about
are
being wrong.
So big at this
such
point.
titans of the industry, and it's it's really. I don't know.
Personally, I think I might enjoy their content based off of this show because my thing is like all these other heroes are just they're so OP that I don't buy it. I don't buy Spider-Man's crybaby boohoo bullshit that his uncle's dead. He's like a superhuman, whatever, fucking spider slinging super strong. Superman's super dope.
Too many S's, too much alliteration.
Like the Green Lantern can fly and create anything in his imagination. The Flash is incredibly fast. Wonder Woman is like, it's just like I name a superhero and I'm like, ugh.
Does Dark Horse also do?
Dark Horse is with DC.
Okay.
Now it seems they've done their Hellboy.
Okay,
yes.
that's why I saw that.
Yeah,
pop up in
I saw that. I was going to say that DC does Hellboy, who is another very grounded character, despite this extraordinarily wacky premise of a demon baby being found after a Nazi like occult ritual, and an English scientist raises him up to be a crime
like his
fighter.
Son, you know,
Like what a crazy.
He's a demon person, but he'll just run around in the night and.
And there's a new Hellboy coming out with the guy from Stranger Things.
Oh, really?
David Harbour is going to play the new Hellboy.
Is he the sheriff?
He's the sheriff in Stranger Things. So he'll be I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers. Maybe we can pull it up when we're during break. He looks way more like a devil than Ron Perlman did, and linking us back to Sons of Anarchy.
I don't know. We'll see. Because I really like those movies.
I did too.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Ron Perlman,
genius.
Ron Perlman is the motherfucker on the planet who looks the most like a chimp. That motherfucker looks like he could be.
I really thought he was going to be Thanos before they announced that it was
He looks like Thanos.
He would be a good Thanos.
But instead, it's what's his name?
The only one who has a scarier teeth game than him is
Teeth game.
Yeah, is oh fuck.
Do that tooth thing.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
No, no, it's another guy.
Man. She's a
Where's the?
No, it's another guy, and he's kind of nuts. He did a lot of drugs back in the day. Gary Busey.
Horse drop.
The button to make a horse like you would like a drop.
Yeah, I know, but it just
horse drop.
The horse drop.
No,
or the sound of a horse just falling.
Yeah,
just dying.
Our horse drops are just from a 747.
As God is my witness, I thought horses could fly. No, Ron Perlman has
incredible teeth.
The second scariest teeth game after Gary Busey. But anyhow,
fair enough.
I enjoyed that show. Now it's interesting because you guys, as I was telling you, I wanted to talk about this stuff. Because Genevieve, what did you think of those two series? By the way, before we move on.
Sorry, middle of a yawn. I didn't watch all of the Bad Blood series. It was entertaining. I think mostly because of all the stuff that they were doing. Like you could point out like, why are they doing this? This is stupid. Like, or it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are there only 3 guys in this entire mob? Like, for me, it was more of a funny because it's kind of bad show more than I don't know. The plot itself, like the twists and stuff were interesting, but I didn't take it super seriously. And then I guess kind of the same thing with Umbrella Academy. I liked the character development. It was different. And now that I think about it, it does remind me a lot of Hellboy because it's this goofy premise, but it works in its own way. Like it's still somewhat believable if you just dive into it and you do get sucked in by the characters. So
I've been enjoying my Netflix experience recently, but going around the room, you guys, you're contemplating getting rid of your Netflix membership. What's this all about?
I feel like
what's this then?
I don't use it.
Yeah, I've been using it lately, and all I do is look. I just look for something, and I like last night I went through their critically acclaimed dramas.
Critically acclaimed.
Critically acclaimed. I went through their critically acclaimed drama section, and I must have gone through it twice before I realized, like, most of these movies aren't that great. And the ones that are that great, I've seen 100 times. I feel like ever since they lost this whole debacle with Disney and Marvel, and they should have just let Disney buy them, which would have been a smart move. Now it's just, I mean, I'll watch the next season of Stranger Things. I'll pay $11 to watch that for 1 month. But I feel like I am just wasting money. A bunch of shows that I love, the shows that I actually want to rewatch, all migrated over to Hulu. 30 Rock, How I Met Your Mother, all these shows that I enjoyed from, when I was young, the shows I want to watch in the last hour before I go to bed.
I
You
can't.
know what I mean?
I just can't. I can't stomach the idea of supporting a site that I can pay money for and still have to watch ads. And even if it's only on some of the shows, and even if it's on the new stuff, I'm just not interested in that. And that's what Hulu likes to do.
Well, it's $11.99 for no ads, which is still
Some of them still have ads, is my understanding.
I have yet to encounter that, and I have that membership.
I have that membership.
Don't you have ad blocker?
Ad blockers, I don't think do anything on those streaming sites.
Yeah, I play my.
You can't use a
it on
VPN.
Hulu, but I've never seen an ad, or on my PlayStation, and I've never seen an ad.
Are you watching some of the newer, hotter shows? Because that's what I was told.
No, I mean, no, I'm definitely not. I'm watching, like 30 Rock, which was winning 16 Emmys when it was on the air, and
Forever ago.
and still couldn't break 2 million viewers.
It's so good. I feel like
it's
it's
the
just like
best
a
show.
cult following. Almost.
And it's nice because it's not like something like Arrested Development that got rehashed and then everyone started or Trailer Park Boys or these other shows that were great and then got
Bought
their
by a different
corpses
company
dug
and then-
up by Netflix or someone else. Tina Fey got it done on. That's what I was gonna go with. I still feel like network TV shows, these network sitcoms, they're still way better than any sitcom on Netflix.
I like The Ranch.
The Ranch is
The
fun,
Ranches, yeah.
but
Do you finish that?
I believe I have now. Because there's just a new the new season came out a couple of weeks ago, and I think I got through. Yes, I did get through all of it.
The one
I
where they got rid
cliffhanger at the end.
they got rid of that one actor,
yeah,
Rooster.
mm-hmm.
the guy, the
Danny
alleged,
Masterson.
Yeah. That's
the alleged
The
sexual
show really
predator.
takes a turn after he's gone.
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It's gonna be tough.
it became very apparent that there was no laugh track anymore, where there used to be.
So,
It wasn't a
in case you're not in the know, Danny Masterson, basically The Ranch has a ton of actors from that 70s show on there.
Like all of them, basically.
almost all
Plus
of them.
Sam Elliott.
And
which-
including Danny Masterson. And then after a period of time where the Me Too reveals were picking up, some people came out, I think it was 4 to 6 women, I can't
I
remember.
thought it was 3.
They're like, Danny
3 or
Masterson
4.
sexually assaulted us. And he's like, nuh-uh.
One of which was a longtime girlfriend, from my understanding.
Yeah. And they're like, the police already looked into this. There wasn't enough evidence to even open a case. He was never charged or anything like that. He's like, this is ridiculous. And I seem to remember Netflix sort of was not really taking action. And then apparently one of the women who made the complaint approached a Netflix executive at a soccer game and was like, why at his kid's soccer game? He's like, why hasn't Netflix done anything about this? And they're like, well, we take the accusation seriously, but we don't really think that they hold merit. And the guy didn't realize that she was one of the accusers. So he got fired. And then Danny Masterson got kicked off the show and they had to write him out. But it was so, they did, I imagine, as best a job as they could, but I don't know if I can
I don't know
that
why.
show.
So they immediately replaced him with a lost cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
was
he
Played by
fucking
Dak
drunk-
Shepard.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He drunkenly fell out of
the
a
cab.
car.
A cop
Or
car.
the cop car, yeah.
Yeah. And it's you didn't need to replace him immediately. You know?
You could probably shouldn't have.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
let it sit for
Doesn't
a bit.
make
Yeah.
sense.
I really thought they could have Rooster could have been gone and they could have met somebody who was somebody's son who just got out of jail, couldn't get a job anywhere because he's a convicted felon, and the dad wants to give him a shot because maybe he was in the service too or whatever.
You just described
Which, is pretty
exactly
much-
what
Yeah.
yeah.
and it could
He's
have
not
been
a criminal, but
He basically is.
but with
Dak Shepard.
no and then
What,
what's his name
Colt?
Colt could have been upset about it, not because the guy has flashbacks or whatever, but because he doesn't want to replace Rooster because he doesn't want to let him go. So they use some of that stuff that I mentioned, and that's sort of why I'm retreading it. They had so close to what I thought would be an engaging story, but they chose not to do it.
I honestly think they could have just completely pivoted it from a comedy to like a drama about Colt like starting his own ranch, maybe butting heads with his dad. Like they could have turned it into a drama because Sam Elliott and Ashton Kutcher are both really good actors.
Yeah. Nope.
Is he though?
That's a good look. He was good in some movies that were not comedies, but Sam Elliott is great.
Has anyone seen the movie The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot?
No.
It is a movie starring Sam Elliott as a man who killed Hitler and is now trying to kill Bigfoot.
What?
Wonderful.
Oh,
What?
It exists. I have seen the trailer for it.
That sounds
And it was
wonderful.
Sam Elliott like climbing in the woods with a rifle on his back. And I was like, yes, when can I watch, please?
How soon?
And I don't know. I forgot.
What is
Until
the title of this movie again?
The title of this movie is The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot.
When was it made?
On a
Like this year.
on a recent episode of SNL, they had a guy do an impression of Sam Elliott, and he was like, "I can't stand up straight," and they gave him a big mustache, and I was like, I never noticed that he never stands up straight,
well,
and he
that's-
always scratches his ear.
He also, like, if you just watch them walk around on the set for the ranch, like, I've noticed that he walks weird. But then Ashton Kutcher also does it now. Like, I don't know when that happened, but, like, towards the end of the last season, at least, if you watch him walk out, like, the kitchen door, I don't know if it's a limp or what, but he just,
Wow.
he looks like something's off.
Anyway, I think they could have taken it a different direction that would have made it better.
Yeah, but I'm surprised. I haven't really gotten the urge to get rid of Netflix, like for the content, because there's always some junk I can throw on and play a video game.
I would pay $11 a month just to stream The Office. Like if they had its own streaming service that was only The Office, I would probably pay $11 a month for that.
What really bothers me about Netflix right now is they stole the idea from those porn sites that if you like mouse over a thumbnail, it shows you a little bit of what's going on in the video.
Action, if you're going to get a little DP, a little
But
airtight.
Netflix adds the audio, and it is tremendously loud.
Yeah.
And
all right?
annoying.
Nobody fucking does that except Netflix. Knock it off, you goonsberries. I mean, I guess as an alternative to advertising, they just make you like, oh shit, I gotta listen to this.
Is this their compromise for giving us the skip intro button?
I don't know.
Oh,
I do not
maybe.
know.
That was how they took away the stars and gave us that stupid thumbs up.
But I am curious a little more on why you guys would want to get rid of Netflix as a service. Would you go to no streaming services, or would you switch to a different one? Or it was just that, was it
I have
mostly
them all.
that they took away your they got rid of your like favorite go-tos?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like The Office is not a favorite go-to of mine. I have like watched it, and like I think like last summer or something, I rewatched some of The Office until Steve Carell left, and then I was like, this show's not that good without him. And even when it was like, first of all, that humor would not fly today. It's just constant like sexual harassment the entire show on a network TV show. But it's not. But I wouldn't pay $11 a month to be able to stream that particular show all the time.
I guess I can see that, but I don't. I think the difference is I don't watch Netflix to rewatch things, because I don't really rewatch anything until it's been like years later and my brain has taken enough blows to forget whatever was held in that region of my brain, and then I'm like, oh, this is like watching it for the first time all over again. But Netflix does pretty well for me finding like cool new stuff that I've never seen before, you know, and right now I'm sort of exploring its content to expand the horizons of what I like to watch. Like I'm trying to get out of just the straight action or comedy or whatever and move into this other stuff.
Yeah, I've had decent success even finding myself, and I have pretty high standards for what I watch. New stuff. If you guys have ever heard of The Travelers, that's on Netflix. I'd recommend that. Similar to what you were talking about, it's Canadian, I believe, and there's a lot of stuff that is, I don't know.
Cool story,
They
Frank.
try to make it intense, but they don't. But it's well reviewed. It's a good show. There's a few other shows that I've watched that I've been impressed with.
So what are the other services that you guys are using? Like Hulu.
Hulu has everything that when Netflix started, instant streaming in like 2011, 2012. Like, dude, you could go onto Netflix and you could watch all of South Park and then watch Battlestar Galactica and then all of 30 Rock, like all of these incredible shows. None of them are on there anymore. Netflix is like, okay, well, we'll pay $110 million a year for Friends. But guess what? That just took up the entire budget for how many other of their network for them to pay networks for their shows.
Well,
and to syndicate these shows.
Yeah, I think a big thing that they're doing is trying to develop their own independent content and then sell that.
But that's what I'm saying is their independent content, like The Ranch is no 30 Rock. They don't have anything on there that Netflix has created that is as...
Stranger Things?
I mean, Stranger Things is good, but Stranger Things is
Stranger Things.
serialized again. It's not, it has no... It doesn't really have rewatchability.
It's 3 seasons now with 10 episodes apiece.
Yeah,
Like they
Third Rock-
need something. They need a sitcom that they can run 22 episodes of for 7 seasons.
Well, I've seen them. They're already selling stuff to like actual like TBS or USA or whatever. I can't remember which it was, but when I go over to my dad's, that's the only time I watch real TV, and they're now broadcasting.
I personally
Netflix
think
series.
the most underrated service right now. No, Hulu is really good.
and its anime is top notch. Top notch.
If you're into anime, Hulu is.
If you are looking for like the top 3 or like the actual good animes, not the ones that are like 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 the ones that are really good that transcend the genre. Turns out Hulu has all 5 of them. They have the One Piece, which is the great long epic. They have Hunter x Hunter and the new one that's extremely popular, My Hero Academia, which is also incredible. But I mean, these are like One Piece alone. If you are looking for a show that you want to go on an experience on, there's almost 1,000 episodes, and it's almost worth it's worth pretty much the entire adventure. It's incredible. It's one of the best stories ever told. Hulu was the one who went out and said, yeah, we're going to take these whole Cowboy Bebop, all of these things. They said, yes, we will go in. We're going to pay these other people for content that comes from years ago. They also, don't forget, a couple of years ago, they had the Criterion Collection. Now that's gone to its own streaming service. But they were way ahead of the curve on indie classic movies. They're way ahead of the curve on animation. They're way ahead of the curve on, buying the shows that people are already proven to want to watch. It's a proven, like, people will want to watch South Park, and they will pay a premium to go and watch South Park.
Can't you Can't you go to South Park Studios and watch it for free?
It's not on demand. They only have like 10 episodes up at a time.
It used to be everything.
And the quality, I mean, is crap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think that like the real demand is for shows like Friends among most people. Which like I don't watch it, but apparently
people fall asleep to television shows, which is the most bizarre thing in the world.
I
to
do.
me.
But I don't do it to Friends. But I mean, for a long time, Archer and How I Met Your Mother, which are now on Hulu, were 2 that I would play.
Perfect example.
Because you both don't have or get friends.
Except I'm sitting in a room with like 6 people right now, spending time with
I was
them.
talking to Frank.
You never said we're friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know Chris gave me a hug, and so did Jake.
He hugs everyone. Okay.
It's okay.
There was a bump, Frisk. He was making sure you weren't
Then he failed.
coming in heavy.
As you can tell, I am strapped.
Okay then.
So
back to the Netflix and Hulu stuff.
YouTube TV, I think, is probably the best value out there. Just because it has.
Yeah, you have it, and it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's more expensive. It's $35 a month, but you get all of the regular live channels, so you can watch sports if you like sports. But also you get a large on-demand library of good movies and TV shows, and an unlimited amount of DVR.
There's so much going on. I don't even know what to do. I have Netflix because I've always had Netflix. I've got Amazon streaming. I never explore it. Never. I'm sure there's good shit on there.
If I were to drop anything, probably it would be Amazon Prime right now. I don't yet because I still have a student membership.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth $50 a year for me. But if I had to pay the full, what is it now, 110 for a year, something like that. If I had to pay the full amount for it, I would not have Amazon Prime.
I use the shit at Amazon Prime. I've been doing a lot of projects around the house, and buying all sorts of new tools that I'm not intimately familiar with, and being able to read reviews on those tools before I order them. And
I feel like you could get a better review by going to Home Depot and asking a guy who's used it how to use it, and he will give you like a real life example of, oh, let me show you. Here, you take this and you press this button and then it does this thing.
I spend probably 15 hours a week in Home Depot.
As is.
The amount of experience that you can get is good, but
what are you doing in Home Depot for 15 hours a week? I'm a contractor. I don't spend 15 hours a week in Home Depot.
Yeah, you probably know what the fuck you need when you go in there.
Yeah, I do.
That's a good
It's always a like experience. I think there was one time we walked out with nothing, and it was very peculiar.
Yeah, I'm learning how to do all this stuff as I go. So I'm looking at the tool. Like last time, I wanted to figure out. Like last time, I wanted to figure out how to do a 45-degree angled runner cut or rip cut or whatever it is on this 2x8 2x8x8 board, and I was like, I can build something to do this, or they might have a jig that already exists. So I went to the store and I said, does this jig already exist? And this guy's like, yeah, this thing is real. Let's go see if we have it in this aisle. Oh, it's not in this aisle. I don't know if it's anywhere else in the store. So we he was able to help me so much, but in the end I wasn't able to solve my problem. So sometimes just going online and finding a video that links to an Amazon thing and then finding the most highly rated version of that tool can be really helpful. I mean, are you interested in some of the other projects I've been working on around the house?
I was a little bit, because as somebody who I buy a lot of tools, I would never buy a tool from Amazon. They couldn't give me a tool to be shipped to me from Amazon. I wouldn't trust them at all. I don't care if it's a DeWalt or a Milwaukee. I don't care if it's a Hilti. I don't care who. First of all, again, I'm in the business, so I can call a guy at Hilti and be like, "Hey, this is the drill. This is what I need to do. What kind of drill would be the best one for me to get?" And send me the bits and the anchors and send me everything I need for it.
Yeah, I don't have that resource.
It off. No, and I understand that, but Amazon, I feel like you should definitely. I don't know if I would buy tools from Amazon. I've always had an issue buying tools off the internet.
Well, I mean, I got sometimes they're just different bits or for me to try out. All right, so I bought these. What did I just figure out how to do? How to drill through glass. Okay. And I bought these $15 set of things to drill through, and I was like, all right, if I use these and I like it, and I think I'll use it again, then I'll go and I'll buy a real set. But what it does is it allows me to buy something relatively inexpensively, use it and see if it does what I need it to do. And if I'm going to keep using it, then I can upgrade to something more and have a little bit more knowledge on what it's actually meant to do. Because going in, I couldn't even tell you what the fuck kind of cut I was trying to do on that board, rip or runner or whatever. And it's you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you get guys in there in the Home Depot who are really helpful, and sometimes you get ones who are I don't know what swamp they pulled these guys out of, but their people skills are just dude. Atrocious.
The Home Depot I go to regularly, there's a guy in the electrical aisle, and that's what I do. I'm an electrician. He who was a union electrician for 30 years in the city. And I mean, he just knows everything. And if you just start to explain to him what kind of job you're doing, he's way more helpful than when I go to major supply chains, people who have been who sell only electrical products to only electricians. If you as a homeowner went in there and were like, hey, I need a switch, they would tell you to get the fuck out. You walked into an all you were a black guy in the South and the South. Get the fuck out. You were a homeowner. Get the fuck out. No homeowners. Jesus. Only contractors.
You say no homo.
I've literally seen the counter guy throw people out at the place I'm thinking of. I won't say their name because he might get in trouble. But I've seen him be like, no, I can't help you. He's like, well, I'm just looking for an outlet. I can't help you. And the electrician next to him had a box of outlets.
I can't.
It's I can't. Please leave. I gotta help this guy. But the guy at the Home Depot there in the electrical aisle is so good. But then one day I needed a fucking fan for a fucking in the plumbing aisle, and I'm looking at the plumber guy, and you're right, dude. It's they pulled him out of a swamp in Alabama. They just plopped him in the middle of Pennsylvania. Oh yeah, help people find these fittings for pipes and stuff.
Yeah.
it's really hit or miss. And I feel like the internet is great for like reviews, and that's where YouTube comes in huge. Like you were saying earlier, Frank, if you want to learn how to build anything, someone's built it on YouTube.
That is the biggest thing that I've learned since doing these projects around my house. And, you know, basically what I do is I pick a project and then I try to find out what tools I need to do it, and then I'll buy them. And I've already used them once, so they're not just sitting in my garage or whatever, and I've never used them, and I'm learning different skills and I'm growing my tool set. But I got to a point where I was like, there is no sense in me trying to figure out how to do anything because everything that I could imagine has already been done. And it's not even like that happens to me with software when, you know, because I write software, but like even more, we've been using these tools as humans for like 6,000 years. Who the fuck am I to think I've got a new idea when it comes to this
I can
stuff?
improve the lathe.
Yeah, right. Like, I wonder if there's a tool to hammer sideways, and I'm like, I guess I'll invent it. And they're like, no, this is a sideways hammer jig. And I'm like, what?
No, it's funny.
I'm with you. Anytime I have to do anything that I've never done before, I just go to YouTube and search it, and I'm like, oh, here's a video that explains exactly how I need to do it by a guy who's like an extreme expert at doing it and tells me exactly the way to do it correctly the first time. And then I'm just like, okay, apparently I'm really good at this, or this guy is really good at explaining it.
I use YouTube for work all the time.
So do I.
I had to replace a ballast just yesterday morning. I was at an office building, and 4 of their lights were out, like over desks, and I had to drop it down, and I took out the light bulbs, and I open up the thing, and there's the ballast inside, and that changes the voltage for fluorescent lights. And the one I took out, I just cut all the wires out of it, didn't mark them or anything, like an idiot. And I cut them, and then I went, because there's a diagram on ballasts. Well, the ballast that this company had bought, they got them shipped here from fucking China. So there isn't a lick of English on them. I don't even know if they're doing the same thing. So I have to like try and find some numbers on this ballast to try and figure out what it is. I put them into the internet, and what was one of the first things that came up? A YouTube video. It showed me, and then I was able to follow, like look inside of his video. Not like the video he was doing. He wasn't teaching me anything. It was a video in Chinese about this ballast, but I was able to see, like, pause the video, look at what he was doing, or how that fixture that he was working on was wired, and then just copy it at the one I was doing. And like, honestly, it would have been so difficult to not, if I hadn't been able to see a video and images of somebody working with that. And I was just able to like bullshit my way through it. And then I did the next one. I marked everything, and I was good.
Right before we wrap up this section, I want to push a channel that I've really enjoyed. Chris Fix. He is, I think,
where we fix Chris, right?
I think he's the #1 automotive, like, it might be working on automotive or just automotive in general channel on YouTube right now. I think he's got 2 million subscribers. Really well produced, really well edited, really well paced videos on how to do a million different things on your car, from super cleaning under the hood and detailing your engine to dropping in a new transmission. And he likes to do it with tools that your average person would have. So he's not like, you lift your car on your 2-ton car lift. He's like, no, I bought these jacks, you know, for whatever. You just lift it with this and you put them on here and drop it out and all this stuff. And all the videos are about 20 minutes, and they're really engaging and really, really educational. And that has given me a load of confidence in working on my own vehicle. That, and if you're looking for more of an entertaining discussion about cars, Scotty Kilmer's pretty good. I think he's in his 70s. He's been working on cars for 50 years, and he answers a lot of questions like, what do you think of this car? And he goes, I've been working on that car for 40 years. Up until 15 years ago, they were great. Now they're trash. He always laughs at himself. But anyway, all right, so I think the takeaway from this section was that Netflix reigns supreme. Everyone else is dumb. And
YouTube TV is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. And YouTube TV is good. YouTube is trash now that two best friends have dissolved. So I don't know what else to talk about. Catch us after this next break, and we're... catch you on the flip side. That's what I meant. Welcome back, everybody. I guess we'll get started. Oh, no, I forgot.
we're
We
not
were going to
starting.
start with the forest, but then I forgot I saw something I wanted to talk to Frank about. I thought he might have some thoughts on it. Have you seen this, Frank? The Galaxy Fold, which is a gross name.
Nope.
They might as well call it the Galaxy Fold Moist, and that way we can all throw up in our mouths a little bit. No, well, it's a
Sexy folds.
so
Moist folds.
so it turns out
That's the worst
in-
porn name ever.
it turns out in Korea they've still had flip phones. They never went away. They have these dope ass flip phones that are like, 3 feet long unfolded, but normal size when you fold. Not really that long, but they're like this long folded, and then they fold out, and they've got touch screens and super technology because they're on their goddamn internet and phone game over there in the South Korea. And people in America have been like, I just want my goddamn Razor phone back. Do you remember that, John? You guys around when that thing was?
Yeah.
Flip phones were great
yeah.
because they didn't have this goddamn problem of anything happening on screen when you closed it. You just closed it and it behaved itself. All right. And then we got exposed faces and delicate screens and whatever. Well, here comes the Galaxy Fold, and it's about a little smaller than my hand, so maybe 3 inches wide and 5 inches tall. And I was reading a review on it, I think on Vox.com. And I'm like, what are they doing with the front of this phone? There's 2 big black bars. That's not supposed to be there. Because there's a little screen on the front of it that I think you can still interact with. But I'm like, dog, that's how flip phones were. They had little screens so you could sort of see what was going on. Then you open it up. And this bitch opens up to fucking tablet size. It's like an iPad mini that in the screen. There's no seam in the middle. They just made a folding screen. They brought it next level. Now it cost $1,980 or something like that. So I'm probably not gonna get it.
Probably.
Since that, I don't know. I pay that much for a car, but I'm excited to see this trend, and I hope it does well. So that we get more flip phones. Now, it opens like a book, like a hot dog bun, and I'm looking more for hamburger style, like the Razor, so that when I have another furious call with Frank, I can just clap it closed on him. Clap you, Frank. Clap. And Jake, clap you, Jake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this
I've
what you're
clapped
talking
Jake
about?
many times.
No, so okay.
This is the Samsung Folder.
No. This is what I was talking about when they got giant ass flip phones still over there in Korea.
What's it called?
Growing out.
For our
The
listeners.
Samsung Folder. It looks like it has like a standard Samsung Galaxy like front, and then it opens up to a keypad underneath and
Right.
a second screen on the
No,
back.
that is the old style I was saying
Okay.
Korea still has. If we look at the Galaxy Moist Fold,
The official name.
here we go. Here you go.
I
Yep.
like that a lot.
Look at it. Take a look at
You
it.
like moist folds?
no,
look-
just the Samsung Moist Fold.
Whoa. Yeah. So it
Bill, I have a GIF here. Chris, take a look at this.
is it the action of the book opening? Anyway, it's pretty
Yes.
dope. So it's wild.
Yeah.
I saw there was recently.
I see.
Wait,
if
did
I
you
re-
say it
That
was
is wild. It's like
$1,980 for a
iPad.
fucking phone?
yeah.
or
Yeah,
tablet.
I cannot justify.
Apple would
Where
charge
is-
almost
$3,000.
$2,000.
where is that-
Let's all cool it a minute. It's quote unquote revolutionary new technology, right? So of course it's going to be super Gucci expensive, and the people with the super Gucci money will be the ones to buy it first, and then as they get more, as the technology develops and that it starts earning money, the company will put more money into development, and that'll bring the prices down. We've seen this 100,000 times with technology
is
in the
this-
last.
So here I'm
30
going to take
years.
us to the rumor mill. That's a millstone grinding up grain. Rumor mill
rumors.
grindstone. So a couple of different companies had this folding screen technology. So they had full color LCDs that you could roll up and like stuff in a tube and then unroll it, and it's however thick. Well, one company had it stolen. They had their tech stolen. So they're like, oh, fuck, we better release this now, which is why I think we're finally seeing this phone when like nobody else is putting out a phone that has this folding screen technology. I think they're like, shit, we better get on it before Kim Jong-un. It's Kim Jong-un in charge right now, right?
Kim Jong-il.
He died.
He did.
Anyway, before North Korea starts making counterfeit folding screen technology phones, because did you know they make some of the best counterfeit American money in the world? Anyhow, I'm pretty stoked because I just want my flip phone or fold phone, and I want the outside to be really strong because I'm a big clumsy moose. We've talked about this, but I was looking on Reddit and they're like, oh, Huawei or whatever that Huawei. They're like, they've got their own folding phone too, and it's cheaper than Galaxy's, and it's thinner, and it's a rival. And I was like, haha, not falling for your spying tricks again.
Don't even joke. That company is like straight up essentially like a Chinese like state-run information gathering service.
Yeah, so they're like, I was surprised to see it on Reddit, and they're like, check out this cool phone. I'm like, no, we were just here. The daughter of like the Don of this company got arrested in Canada.
And he was essentially a member of like the Chinese like KGB as well. Like,
anyhow, keep an eye on this technology. If you have lots of money, do me a favor and buy this phone so that the phone companies are like, we should make this trickle down.
how big of a deal do you think this is going to be like with celebrities? Do you think this is going to like now all of a sudden everywhere I go I see people with fucking AirPods? So like a status symbol for millennials. I read an article about that. Which
I don't know. I see a lot of fucking Gen Xers wearing them too. Like,
yeah. But I mean, it's like a status symbol. Like, oh, I got like $200 spent on shit that could just fall and be gone, fall down a drain and just be fucking ruined.
I don't know how it is in your building, Jake, but I know around my building, like 50% of the people under the age of 30 just constantly, like all day, walk around with their AirPods in. I'm like, what? Why?
Oh, I just forget they're there.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
a lot
part
of
of
people I
me.
work with are younger than me,
Yeah.
and they will have like one ear pod in as they're taking calls, which I'm like, okay, whatever, as long as it doesn't impact your job, like who gives a shit?
I don't.
I do. I give a shit. I yell like if any no
It
you can't wear
bothers
headphones.
you if they're
You can't
doing
wear
their work
headphones
just fine.
on a job site.
This is like cubicle.
No, I
city.
know it, but I've seen people do it too.
When
then, I just don't think it's good for
I'm
work.
doing back office type shit, my earbuds are in
Oh
constant.
yeah.
I'm chugging.
I'm working at the shop and I'm like cleaning shit up. Yeah, I'm not doing anything. But
Chugging brews with your headphones in.
How can you be?
Just chugging Bud Lights.
How
at
can
the
you answer?
office.
I'm gonna buy 1 billion shares. 1 billion shares.
Can I pay you in beer?
Listen, buddy.
I spent all my money on beer.
Listen, buddy. My commission is 2% a trade or 1 hand job. You choose. You fucking choose, bro.
End job.
Yep.
That's a sweet commission.
Yeah.
How do you pay taxes on that?
You gotta put a
one fourth of a hand job.
You just go to like an IRS office and give someone a little kiss?
You put
Or a fourth of a hand.
You
Is
put-
it really? Is
you
it
put
really,
a pinky in Uncle Sam's bum bum.
Is it really fair to pay taxes on a hand job you didn't finish?
No.
But okay,
Like that's like
why would you not?
Thanks
finish
for
it?
weighing in on that.
I'm confused.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I made myself
like what?
dizzy.
Like isn't that like paying taxes on like asking a business to pay taxes on not profits? Like if you get half a hand job, that's like
Well, where since when was this half a hand job?
It would
I'm
be
just
a
saying.
full
I am working in
job.
that
whole
point-
units of whole half.
Well, wait.
hand jobs.
Is
One
is
whole
a hand
hand
job
job.
like a metric? Is this like a unit? Like the average man takes 8 minutes to.
Can we do a
be
record?
jerked off, right?
So can we? How do we escape this?
I'm pulling the ripcord. Change your topic.
thank
Go.
God.
We
Shoo.
were talking about the Samsung Fold.
Yeah. So what do you guys
Which
think?
may or may not be moist.
What do you guys think of this phone?
That's how we got started.
Does it excite you? Does
Like
this
a
kind of?
much as
hand
a hand
job.
Do you guys? Are you
I
looking
think the
for?
reason this devolved into discussions of hand jobs as a means of currency is because we're not
Because Bill
especially
said-
excited.
Okay.
I'm
It was
willing to
a
guess
weird-
now that you asked the question.
It's the price range that puts us all out of like being
yeah,
excited
like-
about it.
like-
Okay, I'll see it.
Well,
on
when it
the
comes
YouTube.
to new tech that's super Gucci expensive out of the gate, which it always is, I'm always like, oh, I'll wait and see.
Yeah.
I'll wait and see if if it falls down to a point where it's within the budget, then I will consider it, and then as that budget continues, as that budget impact continues to decrease over a number of years, it will make more and more sense for it to be considered a justifiable luxury. But for now,
I hope that whatever this phone is, I don't know what that sentence means. I hope this phone has a good way to lock open, because when I buy it in 10 years, when it's finally affordable for me, if it doesn't lock, I know I'm going to be holding it up to my head and it's going to clap close and drop on the ground and smash. So I'm worried about that. I like my old style flip phone.
Gravity remains every phone's main enemy.
God damn you, gravity.
Curse you!
What has gravity ever done for me?
She's a cruel
Kept you from
mistress.
floating into
grounded.
space.
Hey.
So moving on to the topic that I originally thought we would start with.
Hand jobs.
Good guess, but no.
Chris and we did another stream last Tuesday, and I'll tell you what, we had some problems. We
Hand
had
jobs.
Yes. With the hand jobs.
we only had a couple of viewers, but I sent a link to my buddies from work, and they're like, we couldn't find it. I couldn't see it on our channel through the YouTube app, well, on your channel, and I sent a direct link to my friend, and he couldn't get there. So I don't know what was going on.
Was it
conspiracy?
It may have been the YouTube gaming link, which is silly because it'll put you on YouTube gaming and it'll also put you on YouTube regular, and it's two separate links. So I think that may have been it.
Okay, well, we played The Forest, and I will tell you this, it was not what I expected. I enjoyed it. I'm still going to get it. I'm not going to get it for full price now that we played, but my reflections on it are as follows. One, there's a lot of not doing stuff. Like you're like running around and foraging, and there's not monsters. They're not a constant threat. And even when they are around, it's not clear that you need to engage them. You just sort of like chase them around, or you run away, and then you build this stuff. And that wasn't such a big deal. The thing that got me was you're there for like a half a day, and you can build like this super duper cabin out of 40 trees, and it's crazy death trap. And I was like, there was nothing you did to unlock this. It's just you can already build this. And I'm like, it turned into what it felt like it turned into was a tower defense game. And I was a little confused. But I like it. I'll pick it up next time it's on sale, I think. I liked it so far, but are you still playing it? You still actively getting after it?
Yeah, I still play it from time to time. Yeah, I play it between the other things that I'm playing when I need a break from because it's like because it's not constantly intense versus like the other games that I'm currently playing. It's kind of like relaxing a little bit, but still giving me a little bit of intensity when like those fuckers show up to your camp and stuff. But
those horrible monsters,
those assholes
who don't. They have a society apparently. Apparently that's whatever.
Little villages and everything.
Yep, they build pretty clean looking houses, but they look like dog shit, and they don't trim their fingernails. That's one thing we learned.
Yeah.
All right. So
scratch you up.
Our special guest here had a game to talk about.
I did. Well, I came over yesterday, and Jake and I were hanging out, and Jake was just dropping some serious indie game knowledge on me. And I show up here today. That's all you guys are talking about, and then I realized why, and it's because I'm there's no AAA games right now that are worth fucking playing, except for one, and it's called Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I, like most other people I know, had given up long ago on the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Is this the one that's essentially an RPG?
This one is an RPG. It is just that. It's a Western RPG. It is not Assassin's Creed anymore. It is not really about stealthily assassinate, but that's still a part of it. It's not like that aspect of the game is gone. But this one takes place in ancient Greece during the Peloponnesian War. They really they made a wonderful
I gave
game.
it a solid, I think, like 9 out of 10 when I first reviewed it after it came out back in October, but I kind of stopped playing it at some point around the November time frame. Like, I only played it for probably about a month. I probably put about 30 hours into it.
Okay.
And then I just, other games came out that I wanted to play.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, basically Red Dead came out, and I started playing that.
Yeah, I can see why.
That's also something we might get into, but
why it got so buried by Red Dead. Well, that's an interesting topic because I mean, when Rockstar, It's not like it was on PS2, guys, where Rockstar's releasing like 5 or 6 games a generation. They're releasing one. They released one game this generation. One fucking game. Like, what the fuck? How can you release one game?
They're a smaller studio.
But
They're not that small. There's Rockstar, like San Diego. There's
Rockstar
like
is kind of huge.
Yeah, they're kind of massive, bro.
The one that wasn't it just Rockstar
No,
North?
it was
that developed?
all of them.
Oh,
I think
see,
it was-
I always assumed it was just Rockstar North that developed.
Well, we're not talking about Red Dead right now. Talk about Assassin's. Give us a
Well, I was
comprehensive.
wondering why. Oh, a comprehensive review of the game.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
if you like.
I mean, well, there's one thing I would tell everyone to do starting off, and that would be to play as Cassandra. Do not play as Alexios.
Yeah, I
Why?
made that mistake.
Alexios is awful. I don't know how they. I don't know if maybe the mocap technology they had for him versus her when she did hers was better. I don't know if the girl who did all the acting for Cassandra is just that much better than everyone else, but it is painfully different. One of them is like an engaging, unique character who you like, despite the decisions you make, she still makes you feel like you're not making her decisions, that her character is influencing your decisions for her. And that was really unique. And frankly, the story just feels so much more natural with her as the main character. So that would be the only like recommendation based off of gameplay that I would make for that. But I couldn't believe how big the game was.
Yeah, it's massive. When
you start that game on the first tiny island, and you run around, you're like, is this going to be the game? Because I didn't play Origins, but I think I tried Syndicate, which was the one in Victorian England.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that was a bit crap.
it was straight poop.
Did you kill people by giving them a case of the vapors?
There was one good part about Syndicate, and that was the part where it like flash. If I remember right, it like flash forwards a bit to was it World War I or World War II? I think it was World War II during the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, no, I didn't even finish any part of the amount of the game. I bought it and like played it and then took it back because I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I didn't buy it.
I don't even.
My roommate bought it, and we have the thing set up where we
Yeah.
can play each other's games. So I played a little bit of it. That was the only cool part that I saw.
Man, yeah, but this game, when I got done, so I just expected the first island and then maybe some of the other islands I could see around me to be the whole map, and then you get on your boat.
Yeah.
And you fucking are in the middle of the Mediterranean. You are sailing around the Aegean Sea. I mean, Mykonos, all of these islands.
And it's beautiful.
Thebes, it's beautiful.
Makes me want to go to Greece.
Yeah, it really makes you want to go to Greece, which, it's not like there aren't that many ancient descendants of the Greek
only
people
thing
left.
that, the only thing that makes me not want to go to Greece is the people of Greece.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
That they suck. I don't know. Like they
They
Well, he
can't
is
handle their
Italian.
country.
Yeah. And then you
you're
go
Italian.
over there, and it's just like the only thing they can think of is how to get as much money out of your pocket as possible, whether by ripping you off, by selling you stupid shit that you don't want or need, or just straight up stealing from you.
This sounds personal.
No, I've never been there, but that like.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you that they're like that, like the gypsies in Paris.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who pickpocketed me when I was in Paris. Yeah.
Yeah, I avoided that. I almost got my money stolen literally as I was when I was in Paris this past summer, like at an ATM. I was trying to pull my money out of the ATM, and this woman comes up and she has this sign and she puts it over my money, and I like smacked her hand away, and she like gets all freaked out at me. And, like I tell her to go away.
She gives you like a piece of paper that has like a note scribbled, but it's like photocopied and it's in like very shitty English.
Yeah.
And they try and distract you
Yeah.
while somebody else comes up and robs you. And you have to just like push these like poor women just like out of your you have to do everything that you're not supposed to do.
Like you and
because poor people in America would never do that.
No, yeah. And it's funny because the French police are just as brutal as like the South Chicago police.
Yes.
So like, yeah, I saw some fucked up shit.
Oh yeah.
And this was in the train station, by the way. But anyway, yeah. The setting of the game is beautiful,
Wonderful.
and you get to sail around it. and the ship battles are intense.
And you wouldn't think that when they wouldn't have cannons, but it is so much fun to shoot volleys of flaming arrows at Spartan warships, and then jump on them and slaughter all the people on board. It is definitely an improved combat system over the previous hit triangle to parry and win.
That was all the old Assassin's Creed. Once you got the counter, that was it. Game over. You just sat there, you waited for them to attack, and you countered it.
And this game has a counter, and you can kind of get you can get almost as good as it was in the old Assassin's Creed, but it also has dodges and it has a lock-on combat, and it feels somewhat Soulsy.
Yeah,
I would say.
bit. And I think a lot of that has to do with the different weapons that you can use. And how you can tailor, because of the RPG elements, you can tailor your character to use the different types of weapons that they have. So they have pole arms, they have swords, they have big like mauls and axes, and
daggers.
The bow.
Oh, the bows are wonderful.
Yeah,
and then just everything being just draped in that mythological history. That almost like, we just have no idea what really happened because there's two sources. There's two accounts for everything that they're talking about. So like, yeah, dude, you can go to Atlantis and fight the Minotaur and Medusa. Yeah. You look for Atlantis and you meet Pythagoras, who should have been dead 100 years before. And they just do little things that are so different from the other Assassin's Creeds where they tried to stay strictly within the realm of history. And I don't miss the whole Templar versus assassins thing. I don't miss that.
No, neither do I.
And I don't. Yeah, I remember playing. Obviously, if you go back, a lot of people would say Assassin's Creed 2 is probably the best. The first one with Ezio, as far as like that original formula.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right? It's incredible. It's so much fun. But this one is so much bigger and more
Black
grandiose.
Flag was also amazing.
So wait, what's the actual goal then? If it's not like Templars versus Assassins,
it's
like what's your purpose?
The purpose is first of all, I'd say maybe there's like 5 or 10 minutes of gameplay outside of the Animus.
Yeah, that.
There's nothing in the real world. The entire thing is in the Animus. There's no bullshit. And I don't even remember what they were doing outside of the Animus.
Oh, it was. I think it was like a straight like history thing, where it's like, oh, you're the descendant of like this person that's famous from history that we're trying to learn about, and you're like, it's like a straight history expedition. Yeah, if I remember right. I mean, like I said, it's been what 3 or 4 months since I played
there's
it.
not some giant conspiracy.
Yeah,
it's just like, and then the conspiracies are all within this game.
Yeah,
so it's all about the story of a young. In my case, I picked Cassandra, so a young girl who is the daughter of the king of Sparta, and the granddaughter of the great Leonidas, who we all remember from 300, and she various circumstances lead her to leave Sparta, and she is raised on a different island, and she goes on her Odyssey. She goes around the Greek islands, affecting all of Greek history, meeting all of these great Greek Socrates, Pythagoras, I'm trying to think, Pericles. So many like historical moments are like
Testicles.
Yeah, it's literally, you're right. Hippocrates. It's so. I just loved it. But the combat does grow stale around hour 40.
Yeah,
I'll give. It's not.
But the story is really good. It's really well written.
It's the story of her trying to reunite her family.
Yeah,
which is what the crux of the game is about.
Look, to me, Final Fantasy VII's combat got old after about hour 40, 60, or 80, somewhere in that range. But the game itself is amazing, so I still play it 20 years later. 22 years later.
And this is the first Assassin's Creed that I beat and then was saying to myself, I want to play this again, which is not, as we were saying before we started recording, is not a feeling I had with another huge AAA rated game being Red Dead Redemption. It is not a game I want to play again. It doesn't feel right. Whereas Assassin's Creed, it was so open-ended. It was just like Fallout. There was so much to change from like, first of all, the amount of clothing options.
Really?
Just fashion souls all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. So not only would they have the best mechanic ever, not only can are there so many different outfits to wear, but obviously as in a normal RPG, your armor changes. And I found some better armor now. This is a level 15 armor versus my level 14. Got to wear that now, but it doesn't match my nice bracers and my boots and my helmet. But they were kind enough in this Assassin's Creed game to give you a nice little button that lets you just assign the text pad or whatever pattern, whatever clothing you wanted to whatever you've already unlocked. So if you get a level 15, you can just change it to look like the armor you've already had, which I really appreciate because that's something I hate in games where you're constantly changing your equipment, just like in Souls, where you're,
Neo
and Neo and all those games, and you're like you put 10 hours in, you're like, look at this cool shit, and then an hour later, that shit I just had that was so cool is just worthless, and it'll never be cool again. And they found a way around that.
If there is one complaint about specifically Assassin's Creed Odyssey with the armor system like that, it's that your shit becomes so obsolete so quickly because it's every level. Literally one, like fighting something that is 2 levels or more higher than you is very difficult, if not impossible.
Yes.
And there's just you have to do shit that is within your pretty much at your level range. It'll be difficult to go 1 level above. 2 levels you should pretty much forget about. And same thing with the equipment.
And it's a little different if you improve your weapons, if you take them to a blacksmith.
Yeah.
So like a level 20 epic weapon that you enhance to level 23 is as strong as a rare level 24 weapon.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of there's rewards for that, but it's the story. It's the story of family. It's the story that has those great little warm feels in your tummy where you're like, this is a good story, and I can be good, even when you're kind of being bad and you're just randomly murdering people. You're still kind of doing it, and you're moving forward.
Family.
You're moving forward in a positive direction, and the game's it's fairly mature. It's also very very open. I remember at the very beginning of the game, it has that disclaimer that this game was made by a diverse group of people.
I think they all have that.
That's been there since
and
the first game.
now it's changed to include sexual identities.
Oh, okay.
So this was this game that was a huge deal. Was that you could literally you can have a bunch of romantic entanglements. It's ancient Greece, no one cares about sexuality back then.
Well, I think the purpose of that message, especially in the first one, was because it was set during one of the Crusades.
Yeah.
And,
so it's got
they
religious.
wanted to I think get ahead of any notion that they were taking a side religiously on anything.
It was also 5 or 6 years after 9/11.
Yeah. So that's I think really where that came from, and now with the current cultural discourse, it's relevant in a different way.
There was a whole controversy when the newest DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out because its story mode kind of forced you into a particular, I believe, what's the proper phrase for? I guess a typical sexual relationship. Straight sexual relationship, and people were very upset because they were like, no, I had a lesbian character for the entire game. She had never slept with a man. Why are you making her sleep with a man now at the end of the game? Or I had a totally gay character for the entire game, and now you're making him sleep with a woman at the end of the game because what? And they had despite that disclaimer, I knew that was all over the internet for a couple weeks, and then
Have they fixed it at all?
Yeah,
Or, okay.
they patched the shit out of it. They were like, yeah, we're good. Here you go. They added some bullshit to it, I guess, and tried to fix it. So it's funny how they like to pretend that they're all inclusive in the verse, and then when given the opportunity, they just forget about it.
It's probably just an oversight.
I'd like to think so, but
Have you spent much time with software developers? It is 100% reasonable to assume that they just made a
software
misjudgment.
developers,
A boo-boo?
yes, not story editors.
Well, it could have been a software thing.
You think?
Well, the
Like, just
devs,
that you
the
wouldn't
devs
have
had
an
to write the
option?
game.
No, it was a part of the writing of the story is what I'm saying. I'm saying that the people who are writing the words that the characters are saying would notice that. So I'm not saying that I'm not blaming any software developers. I'm blaming well, I guess I am, because the people who make the writers are part of the software developing company. I'm not talking about writing code.
I know.
The people who are writing code are so the story thing isn't dependent on the people who are writing code, I wouldn't think.
Okay.
No, I mean they could question it,
Right?
considering all that, but
I don't think it was
sounds
a code
like it was
issue.
just a dumb oversight, and they took Cassandra. They took both characters as characters with choices pre-established, and forgot about the fact that the player was making those decisions.
Yeah, and a
before.
player over the course of like hundreds of hours too.
Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't have. It certainly doesn't sound like it was malicious. I think it was just.
Oh, I don't
stupid.
think it was malicious either. I
Yeah.
think it was kind of seems to be a horrendous oversight. Though.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, and they suffered for it. I mean, they just got heated on for
Yeah.
like 2 straight weeks until they
That,
dropped a
that,
patch
that
for
is
it.
the. I mean, I haven't played it. I don't have the investment, right? But it certainly is a better problem to have than
Fallout
what?
76.
Oh my
What-
god!
then what?
Yeah.
Fallout 76. Yeah.
What-
Oh yeah.
what happened?
Oh, what
we
didn't
talked about it.
happen?
Have we?
There-
Okay.
That it's a garbage game.
Google
and it's
it.
just
Okay.
bad.
Google it.
Every possible thing that could go wrong.
Everything that they could, every ethical choice that they could have made the wrong way, they made the wrong way.
And
Can you not be a super gay mutant?
That part of the problem is that question is irrelevant.
exactly.
It would
don't
be a
even
better
get that
game if that
option.
question was a relevant question.
Yeah.
It is so bad that it
Yes.
is not.
Yeah, that's
so,
100% correct.
so anyway, we're not talking about that game.
love the way your face is melting, Gorlak.
That is how they're. That,
You are the horrible mutant man for me.
Mhm.
Well, it's
good.
Ubisoft who made Assassin's Creed, and they make a lot of. They go all over the place with their development.
What about the Ubisoft sandbox tropes? Is all that shit
Far
there?
Cry.
What is-
Millions and millions of collectibles that do little to nothing for your character.
No, because some of the main collectibles, if I remember, are the things that allow you to upgrade your ship.
Okay.
If you find those, there's like ancient tablets, I believe they're called, and then just constantly like gold and stuff which you need to level up your ships and your
Yeah.
weapons and everything.
There's definitely some grind factor if you really want to max out all your shit,
Sure.
for the resources. But yeah, there's no random collectibles that I can remember. Like it used to be, like you could collect the sea shanties in Assassin's Creed 3 and
Those were like the only
shards.
fun one, but there were the shards, there were the feathers, there were
Yeah,
We
like
had
no,
the
none of
pages
those.
for
pages, like
Franklin.
journal pages that you would never read.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah, no, there's
like,
there's not a lot of like that. It seems like everything's useful.
Yeah.
It's just that there's a problem with the leveling up that you
Yes.
can't just go and fight, someone who's like a couple levels higher than you and beat them with skill.
It's too locked in.
Yeah.
Like basically, once you get to 2 levels above you, you're dealing like 1% of the damage you otherwise.
that's
would.
horseshit.
Yeah.
Fucking sword's a sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
but
fine.
there's enough going on at your level that like
You aren't gonna
there's
run out.
shit to fight.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
so much shit to go and fight. So
I think you are grossly mistaken. A sword is a sword, but a katana is a piece of art folded over 1,000 times by master swordsmiths.
Are you saying that Odyssey should have been set in Japan?
I'm saying that what you said was ridiculous.
Okay.
What if I had a
Got
noodle sword? What if I made it out of noodles? Would
Yeah.
that a sword's a sword?
It wouldn't be a sword.
It would be.
It would be
noodle
a bundle of noodles. And
It
you
can
would-
be whatever it likes.
And you would fucking die.
What
What
if
if it
you
was-
like compress and dehydrate those noodles
be
until they're
fucking dead.
solid AF?
You'd be fucking dead.
And it would still be a noodle sword, but you would have
you
like
the
super compressed version.
you
of
would get
noodles.
impaled by a spear and you'd be dead.
what if I got the world's biggest sheet of lasagna and then I folded it billions of times into it? And then it's
It would be a hunk. It would be a hunk.
Wait, is it still like,
Hans.
of.
are we talking like a cooked piece of lasagna? Or just-
It would-
wet, and as I folded it, it would start to dry.
Ah.
Folded
Okay.
billions
It
of
would.
times.
It would.
Billions.
That's how big the whole sheet is. Like it's just
Why
you can do
fold it
that.
trillions of times when you could fold it billions?
Yes. This is exactly the question that we need answered.
I think that would be the most unstoppable weapon man has ever seen. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Putting this out there
Lasagna
on
noodles sword.
putting this out there on the internet waves. I challenge all of you,
A
everyone
lasagna.
ever who ever hears this episode at any point, to challenge me to a noodle fight.
That sounds not
BYO noodle weapons.
Noodle weapons. Someone's gonna show up with one of those swimming noodles.
Dude, you know what?
Just
I was
smack
just
the
about to
shit out of
mention
you.
that pool noodle fights are still one of my favorite things to do.
Well,
They're so much fun.
I feel like there's a certain point in your life where, as a single man, you have to stop going into pools.
Like it's no longer acceptable.
Yeah, it's
for
no
you to
longer
be there.
viable. Like maybe if you're like in like Las Vegas, or like if you're in a place that has pools, or you're at like a friend's house, maybe.
But like a public pool or like to the YMCA.
Or like if you have a if you live in like an apartment and they have like a public pool,
Yeah.
and like you're like, hey guys, let's go down to the pool. Lindsay did that to me.
I think that's bullshit. I think everyone should be in
very
pools.
strange.
I love swimming.
Yeah.
And everyone
I
should
am-
fight each other with pool noodles.
I am a large.
We should fight wars with pool noodles.
We might lose.
The great.
I am a huge.
I like
proponent-
drones.
Yeah.
And fucking.
Make them fire pool noodles. What's the problem?
Oh my god.
What's the
Listen,
problem?
No, I
don't-
just imagine a drone with like pool noodles attached to it, and they're just like whirring around as it's flying.
Yeah, smacking into each other. Somehow it's still aloft.
Like slap the shit out of people if they're.
How
anywhere near.
do soft flexible cylinders generate lift when they spin? I don't know, but it works. Shut up.
I'm a huge proponent of hotel pools.
Same.
I don't. I find the older I get, the less I want to get in a pool. And people are like, "But why?" I'm like, "I don't want to be wet. I like to shower. Okay, that's nice, but I don't want to get into a pool
for everyone.
and then get out and be like, now I'm just wet and not in a pool."
I hate that chlorine feeling. I'll get in the ocean. If it's a nice
I'd rather
ocean.
chlorine than ocean.
I'm not going in the Jersey Shore again. I'm not that stupid. I'm not like my parents. I'm not an idiot.
Whoa.
I'm not taking kids down. That place is fucking disgusting. There's like a couple good beaches in the world. There's Hawaii,
We're on an incredible tangent.
and there's like the Caribbean.
We
And like
are
that's
We're a
so,
gaming
basically-
channel,
I would go
right?
in that.
we're
but-
so many levels removed from Assassin's Creed
This
Odyssey.
reminds me.
But I would not go
Google
in a
had
pool.
a Google Doodle of Steve Irwin, and PETA talked shit on our boy Steve.
Oh, I heard.
Wait, what?
They're like a real proponent of animal rights would have just left him alone, and Steve was all up in their business, and he did more to hurt than help, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
they're
that's
so evil.
what I think of when I think of beaches.
Is PETA peaches?
Beaches.
Oh,
Because that's what we were talking about, and now we're here.
Yeah, this was a hard
That
left.
was a hard, yeah.
what are you talking about? You go to the beach, there's sea monsters. I was thinking of
Oh, I forgot about the sea monster.
I forgot about the episode where
I'm
Steve
explaining
Irwin
myself.
tackles
Quit
sea
talking about
monsters.
yourself.
Oh my God. Let me show you this great segue. Assassin's Creed The Beach, Assassin's
The
Creed
beach?
Under the Sea,
There are a lot of
Assassin's
beaches in
Creed
Assassin's
Sea Monsters,
What?
crocodiles are monsters, saltwater crocodiles.
Okay, I see it.
Steve Irwin fought crocodiles.
No, you're
PETA
good.
talked shit on Steve Irwin. There we are.
Assassin's Creed Down Under.
I followed. They're all-
Assassin's Creed Under the Sea.
actually,
Under the sea.
if I remember correctly, you can visit Atlantis in this Assassin's Creed, which is
Do you
under the
think
sea.
like a mermaid version of Ezio, like down underwater?
Chill with Ariel.
By the grace of God, we're at our
Songs.
second break time. Everybody stick around for our seam sale. We're going to kick it again and catch you on the flip side.
Somebody just murder me with a noodle, please.
Steam sale. Steam
sale.
Steam sale. Here we go.
Bring out the sacrificial goat.
I forgot.
Steam sale.
So that's why you guys invited me.
It is.
You are our special guest.
TerraTech
Churn you
weekend
into
deal.
butter.
Please give me your liver.
TerraTech, huh? TerraTech is an open-world sandbox adventure game where you design and build your own creations through a mix of crafting, combat, and discovery. Explore a hostile alien landscape or design with creative freedom. The choice is yours.
Whoa.
Reminds me of Kerbal Space Program and Spore at the same time.
Yeah. Looks like you kind of Lego piece together buildings and vehicles and achieve tasks.
Play for free.
Yeah, there's a free weekend going on right now, and
A
it's
freaking.
on sale. The base version, $15, 40% off.
There's also a pot company called TerraTech.
That's true.
Ah,
Wow, look at this
Their
shit.
stock
Guys
price
like
is still
flying
pretty shit.
around.
so you can
This looks
kinda
pretty
just do-
cool.
what? Sorry,
Yeah, you
there's
just
some
like-
crazy vehicles.
Just like MacGyver, that's a
That
flying
was a
saucer.
Scorpion.
You mean
tank that- from
MacGruber.
Halo before that.
You can
This looks like
MacGruber
it'd be a
together
fun game
various
if you
things.
were
Thank you.
baked.
Well,
I think this would be a
spoiler
fun game.
alert,
Multiplayer?
most
There's
games are fun
multiplayer.
baked.
Every single video game. Yeah, let me rephrase that.
Not-
Life is better
I would
when you're
imagine
baked.
the game, the police are coming and everyone knows you're high is not a fun game to play with.
You'd be surprised.
This
It's at the
looks
very least
entertaining.
exhilarating.
I don't know if it's $15 or $18 entertaining.
No, if this was like $5, I'd pick it up. It definitely
It looks
like
pretty
something-
sharp.
It does. It just seems like a new genre that I haven't really explored, and it's hard. Anytime you see crafting mentioned in a game description, it's a little bit of a red flag because so many times it's been tried to make a good crafting system, and it really is difficult. So if the game is focused on it, the whole game can fall apart really easily because it's easy to fuck up crafting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rise of the Tomb Raider is 80% off for $11.99.
I'd say that's worth it.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
the second game in the
is, in
series.
the reboot series, yeah.
And all
Yeah.
three
But
are
then
really good.
There's another Tomb Raider.
Is the
up
third? Is
top,
the Shadow
That's
of the
the
Tomb
new
Raider?
one. That's the one that came out in October.
and it's 30.
30
50%.
bucks?
And it
off.
was
September 14th.
I did not play it, but I've heard it is really good.
Shadow of the
All three of the-
Colossal
yeah.
Tomb Raider?
Shadow of the Colossal Tits on the Tomb Raider.
No, they normalized her now.
All right, so the new one is 50% off at 30
Yeah, they really
bucks.
toned down. She used to have like a fat ass in the first game. They really like
Used
desexualized
6
her.
polygons per cheek.
Yeah, so this looks every bit as good as I expected to.
It really does look amazing.
$30. I mean,
My only
gonna
complaint.
drop again.
My only complaint
It
with
will.
these games is like as awesome as they are. I mean, they're violent as fuck too, which is always
Which is
something
great.
I love. I
Look
just
at that. Just
yeah.
tackling people
It's
from trees.
the one thing I'll say, and I felt about it in the first one. I've played some of the second one.
Mm-hmm.
It's no Uncharted.
Oh, you like Uncharted better?
She's no fucking Nathan Drake, and Nathan Drake really like.
I mean, he has some really great climbing sounds, and jumping around sounds.
yeah, but it's
I will
about
give
the
him credit
little
for that.
it's the little cutscenes of like quick fucking character with a
Mm.
premium voice actor
Mm.
that just make that game better. So it's a better story, and I'm a story person.
she is.
so.
She is. I don't know.
She's
I mean,
good. She's no, it's not. It's not her. No, there's nothing. Not. It's just
369?
not as. It's nothing. It's not flawed.
Damn, she's
Just
fine.
there's a better example of it,
Mm.
and it's literally like the same kind of genre.
What about the gameplay though? Because I haven't.
Oh,
played
it's
Uncharted.
they're phenomenal. It's a little bit more fun than
I was going to say
because it's so
That's the part
violent.
I care
Play
about.
is better than Uncharted. I definitely think.
Yeah.
Dude, the first reboot of the Tomb Raider that came out knocked my friggin' socks off
Yeah.
with how they evolved and modernized the mechanics and the play style and the
Look at this one.
cutscenes, and they maintained the charm of old platforming style puzzles and environment puzzles, but modernized it to be engaging now. And if they did anything to improve it, this is going to be.
And the impressive part, and I don't know how these guys, they must sit around and get baked and think of all this shit all day long because the puzzles do not get repetitive.
No.
That's pretty impressive.
They do not feel like factory Bethesda Radiant Quest type puzzles.
Right, exactly. Each one feels unique and like it's got its own thing that you need to think of and applicable to the environment that you're in.
And surprisingly, now I've only played most of Rise of the Tomb Raider, the middle installment of this trilogy
Yes.
to date. I still haven't even beaten it. I put it down for some reason and
Yeah.
just.
Me
No,
too.
I think
Me
I don't
too.
know what came out. I forget. But
Red Dead.
yeah. I feel like that's exactly.
no, it
yeah.
definitely wasn't Red Dead. But even just from that like snippet, I'm just like this is all my favorite parts of Assassin's Creed, all my favorite parts of several other games, and a solid basic crafting system. Apropos, that's not overwhelming or stupid. It kind of, it still clearly is a game crafting system.
This, I gotta say, I remember when they did the reboot, I was like, why are you touching this old series? You're gonna fuck it up. And then they didn't. And then the next one, I'm like, all right, it's gonna drop in quality, and it didn't. These guys have been crushing it.
Yeah,
agreed. It's solid
Square,
entries.
Yeah.
Square Enix, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And who else?
Somebody,
Crystal Dynamics and
Eidos
Montreal.
Montreal.
I'm guessing they're the guys who are really doing it, and Square's
Was
just putting
Eidos
their
the
name on
original
it.
studio for Tomb Raider?
Eidos?
I think it was
Yeah, I think
LucasArts.
Eidos was.
God, man, I never played the original Tomb Raiders.
I did.
So I think you
Which is
even
good.
if it's $30, you can't go wrong with this one, and $20 for the last one. I mean, $50, you could get the 2 newest installments.
No, the last one wasn't it 12?
Yeah, the last one's like $12 right now.
thought
And
it was
they're
20
having a
bucks.
free trial for this one too. So
Ooh.
Is there a bundle?
Yeah.
I recommend these games. I don't know why I haven't played them yet.
you know what's nice about these games? At least so far, and granted, Jake, I think I played a little bit more of the first one. It doesn't feel like a game I need the DLC
You're right,
for.
$12.
Oh my God, Just Cause 3.
Just Cause 3.
For $2.99.
100%.
That
Yes, hard yes.
I'm calling. I haven't seen the rest of this list.
It's
100%.
yes.
That is my pick.
That is tough to top for $3.
Yeah.
If you
That's
haven't
one.
played Just Causes 2 and 3, you are fucking up.
Yeah.
If you like action games at all, especially with shitty, campy stories and voice acting, but with just over-the-top fluid action and the freedom, like a sandbox that's generally fun because you're only there's some collectibles and a little bit of bullshit you can choose to deal with or ignore, but the whole point is to just blow everything up and depose a dictator and be a superhero basically. You've been playing 3 recently.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I did.
What is anyone in a hurry? Why don't you tell us about Just Cause 3?
I fucking love the tethers.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things in the game to do is get one of the explosive barrels and attach a tether to that, and then one to a guard.
You shoot connecting tethers out of some sort of gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have like a Spider-Man fucking rig, and you fire grappling hooks out of it,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you
Because
can
life
use
is
them
better
to
with
connect
grappling
other
hooks.
things, and then remotely trigger them to collapse into each other. And you can rubber band yourself around the environment, and then you also have unlimited parachutes that spring out of your backpack.
Yes.
It's just a limitless supply
And a
of
wingsuit.
parachutes. You get the wingsuit eventually, but
Like a
and just
flying squirrel
You get the
suit?
wingsuit pretty
Okay.
quickly, actually.
the DLC for Just Cause 3, not only you get a wingsuit in the base game, but in the DLCs, I forget the name of it, you get a jetpack for the wingsuit. What? And then you get a shoulder-mounted machine gun and the other
now
shoulder-mounted
you're just
homing
Iron Man.
missile
Yeah, I was just saying, now you're
launcher.
just Iron Man at this point.
You
You're just
literally
War
become
machine
Iron
going off
Man.
now.
The machine gun is going off next to your right ear. You would be really deaf very quickly. Doesn't
he's got
fucking
a
matter.
He's got a very special
You're a war machine.
earpiece.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. You are a human fighter jet. You are Iron Man.
Yeah.
And also there's machine guns, and you can hijack cars if you really want to, and planes.
It's so boring to
You-
drive in that game.
There's no point. Driving is the worst part.
It's the worst.
You're
part
not
of
even
the game.
expected to
defeated
do it.
the whole
They make
idea
you
of
do
the
it
game.
like once too,
All right,
and they're
so
like,
I'm gonna
"Hey,
play this
fuck
game.
you."
No. What are you? No
Feel
grappling,
free-
Just driving.
Feel free to drive, but there are so many more fun ways to get around.
Yeah, you can pretty much get around the whole map
Hijacking helicopters and fucking just
without even touching the ground at any point.
yeah, you can just stay in the air and glue yourself to structures like for 85% of the game.
Yes.
It's just so silly and so much fun, and for $3 you're just fucking up. But Just Cause 4, I'll also briefly side note here. I'm not bringing it up because it's on sale. I'm bringing it up because it's bad.
Looks
And
like it
maybe
might
we'll
be on
dive into this
sale.
later. I think it is on
Yeah,
sale.
it is with the square.
Oh shit! Is Deus Ex
Yeah.
So
on here for sale?
It is.
yeah,
Wow.
I didn't ask for this.
check out. Don't pick up Just Cause 4 unless you're a diehard fan.
Really?
Because 4 came out.
Just Cause Stunt Squad. Oh my god, there was a scorpion on screen and the word Stunt Squad.
Cars turning in the air while they're...
I'm going to let Jake talk, but I'm not surprised by his report.
It came out December 4th of last year, and it's been consistently on sale for half off ever since. And the reviews are mostly negative. And all the freedom we just described in 2 and 3, they basically got rid of in a lot of ways. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. We can do a deep dive on another episode. I might even pick it up just to give it a scathing review or something. If we're going to go down that road. But maybe
they're selling hoodies and hats.
Did you see that Stunt Squad combo pack?
Right.
Bundaroo?
Yeah, they shit the bed.
That helicopter didn't even have a spinning blade. It was just sliding on through.
So pick up 2 and 3 for a total of $5 probably. That is I haven't played 1. I've heard it was pretty good, but the 2 and 3 way
I believe
surpass
1 is
it.
on the sale as well for like 97 cents.
So I'm going to guess that also in there is going to be Deus Ex Human Revolution. I picked that up and used it as an introduction to stealth gameplay. I quite enjoyed it.
How much are these Final Fantasies, Sean?
Yeah, the Final
10%
Fantasy
off.
series.
5.
So like $8.
Is that 6 for fucking $8?
Yeah, they're not like super duper cheap, but they're cheaper than they are at full price.
So what is
They
this?
are in fact half price.
Oh my
at
god,
50%
13.
off.
Dude, how many people are buying Final Fantasy 13 right now?
What is the spooky, scary
Probably-
Final Fantasy 14 and Stormblood?
What?
Stormblood.
That's a DLC.
It's online,
okay.
It's
yeah.
online, yeah.
But wait, they have has anyone played 15?
Well, that's
Frank,
half
you've
off.
played 15.
I have. It's pretty good.
Is it worth $25?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say 20
Yeah.
to 25 is we're at the right price for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Are there chocobos?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I guess
are.
that's all I need.
What else?
Near
Yeah,
Automata
Automata
for
is-
full price. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Life is Strange. If you haven't watched the playthrough or played that game, 70% off. Oh, Before the Storm. I guess this is another one. Episode 1, free? 80%.
I
What?
think the
Is it
name
free?
of episode 1 is
It's
free.
not free in price. It's free in.
Oh,
in
okay.
It's just like a thing.
Life is Strange is a fun little Telltale-esque.
Sorry.
I've watched a lot of
Still.
playthroughs of it, and it's kind of. I'm surprised it gets as much praise as it does. If I'm honest,
Yeah,
Can we
it's,
just look at the
it's
face of
pretty
the girl
like,
in the last game?
it's like this shit just doesn't make sense. But it's a story.
but it's fun.
Game.
It's fun. I mean,
I guess.
it's
First
fun.
Tomb Raider's $3.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's a
Oh.
really good pick too.
Yeah.
85% off, down from 20 at $3. The first in the recent reboot of Tomb. Yeah, dude, these Tomb Raider games are also a very, very good choice. I'm still doubling down on Just Cause 3 at $3 though. 100%.
So this Square Enix developer sale or publisher sale, whatever it is, you can probably get a lot of good stuff. All right, let's stick on this page. I think this is where Starpoint Gemini Edgelords. I mean Warlords. Let's see. Oh, this is a Frank game. It's got space, open world, action, RPG, and strategy.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Strategy.
From the front line. Starpoint Gemini Warlords combines third-person capital spaceship combat with 4X strategy and RPG gameplay elements. Build mighty war fleets and send them into battle or lead them into combat yourself. Become the warlord and conquer the Gemini system.
That declined pretty fast.
Interesting. $7.
Mostly
Looks like there's a
positive.
bunch of add-on packs, millions of them.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that.
Came out,
I mean, if you get them all for like $25, maybe.
talking about 2 years ago, $7 for the base game. I guess if you had a lot of time and you're looking for a new strategy game to give a try, but there's so much good shit out there.
I am playing Civ 6 hard right now.
Yeah,
with
this
the
looks
new
like another
expansion.
learning curve game. Battletech. Oh, tell me there's mech warriors. We're in the game Battletech now. That's what it's called. Take command of your own mercenary outfit of mechs and mech warriors that pilot them, struggling to stay afloat as you find yourself drawn into a brutal interstellar civil war.
It says it's from the Mech Warrior universe. You guys remember Mech Warrior back in the day?
Yeah.
Do you remember on G4 in like the early 2000s they used to have it was like it was
Oh my god! I completely forgot about G4.
Right? And it was like streaming before streaming, and they would have people playing, and it was Unreal Tournament was one of the big games that they played, and Quake was another big game that they played, and Mech Warrior was another game that they would play. And I always wanted to play Mech Warrior, but I never got to play it. I think it was Mech Warrior 4 that they played big time back then.
Yeah. Well, they had that show. Was that Arena? Where they actually
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I was trying to remember. G4 had like a lot of kind of shit I missed. But Adam Sessler is a massive SJW, and that's about all we have left of it. Olivia Munn does average movies sometimes.
This game looks amazing. Depth, and the P goes down deep on the screen.
Right now.
Play as a shark. That's all I need to know.
Wait, what?
Yes, this is in my cart right now.
Play as a shark or a diver in a dark aquatic world, and overcome your enemies by employing cunning, teamwork, and stealth. Death blends tension and visceral action as you team up against AI or be matched with other players in a heart-pounding combat.
Dude, you are just a shark tearing
Crushing
ass
it.
up.
Blood everywhere.
Asshole
I'm
first.
absolutely buying this.
And the diver has akimbo pistols and like underwater assault rifles.
MP40.
That's amazing.
$5. Oh wait. Buy depth. Is there a discount for the 4-pack?
Wait, there's 4?
my God.
No, the fucking 4-pack is $60.
What?
No,
Oh.
23.
give 3 to your friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
that's still
$60
$15 a copy.
Yeah.
Everyone could just buy it for themselves for the price of one beer.
Yes.
In a college town.
Okay, this looks amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that this shark game is gonna be the best game ever. How is he shooting underwater? Who cares?
Oh my god, the shark
Who cares?
came
Doesn't
out.
matter.
A lot of guns can operate underwater. They just don't hit as hard. As long as they're fully underwater when they work. Anyway, science. Let's see what else. Dragon Quest.
Dragon
11.
Dragon Quest.
Echoes
Let's
of an
all
Elusive
go.
Age, Digital Edition of Light, Revelations, Vengeance.
If you like a
Reloaded.
JRPG game, I mean, this looks like it's got a lot of style. Good reviews. What are they selling it for?
It's anime styled. That's kind of fun. Reminiscent of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, what's the price?
$30.
I'm not going to try it for 30.
Yeah, I don't think
I'll
so.
buy one of the first iterations for $2 because surely that's on sale.
It looks a lot like Dragon Ball Z. Anyway.
Dragon. Watch the dragon. You know, when I was younger and in school, there was like talk of secret Dragon Ball porn cartoon. It was like Dragon Ball XXX. And I remember one of the guys I went to school with told me all about it. And I don't think it's real. I mean, Rule 34 hadn't been written back then. I'm sure it exists now, but back in the 90s.
Speaking of Rule 34, Ghost Recon Wildlands. 65% off at $17.49.
Does anybody really love the Ghost Recon series? I picked up a couple through
My
my
other
time.
friend Matt played it a lot, and I think might still. I don't know. I keep meaning to give it a try. I just want it to get cheaper, frankly.
This is another one of those international Ubisoft games. I don't know if any of you guys played Rainbow Six Siege, another one of these Tom Clancy's, super tactical. It's a great game. Love it. I'm not going to get this game ever. I'm looking forward to the Division 2.
The Division I heard was rather dry.
Yes, but I think they're really going to knock it out of the park on the second one. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and try it out because I like tactical shooters.
Bill's over here knocking his mic around. I mean, I don't know where I'm at. I think I'm just waiting for this to get dirt cheap before I bite. But it does, from what gameplay I've seen, it does actually look fun for whatever Ubisoft sandbox things might be going on.
Yeah, but then again, this one is a see, look, they got a bunch of stuff from Siege in here.
Siege is another one that is sort of a fun, in the spirit of Counter-Strike sort of thing with some extra mechanics tacked on, which looks really cool.
It's so
I just
much
haven't been
fun.
in that kind of like aggressive multiplayer mood in such a long time.
Oh, yeah, and it is savagely aggressive.
Yeah.
It's like the most aggressive.
Siege.
Yeah.
I haven't been in that mood since the Modern Warfare 3 days.
That would be a game to get you back into it because it's real. ducking through corners and stuff, and like really like
Breaching
shooting
walls.
shooting through walls to enemies who you can't see, or who you just saw through,
Another very Counter-Strike thing.
who you just saw through like one bullet hole, and you're like, oh shit, I know where he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you go out, and you're like, he doesn't know I'm here, and then his buddy sees you and blows your fucking head off.
All right, let's make the call. What's everybody? If you were going to spend money on a game this week, what would you pick up? Genevieve, why don't you get us started?
I think I would be going with the Tomb Raiders. Probably though, just 1 and 2.
So cheap
Of the reboots.
Yeah. Because I don't know. That's enough content for me for a while. I know the $30 is pretty cheap for the most recent one, but still.
But by the time you finish the other two, it'll probably be cheaper than $30.
Right. And then I might as well pick up Just Cause 3. Because, got such a great review from us.
Yeah, there are so many just cheap, excellent picks this week. Very good week. Chris?
Since I already have Just Cause 3, I'm not picking Just Cause 3, but if you don't have Just Cause 3, fucking buy Just Cause 3.
Just Cause 3.
Ooh.
Why?
Just Cause.
Why? Hey, you beat me to it. Just Cause.
Because Just Cause 3. And, but I am absolutely picking up Depth.
Oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, that's on my list too.
Fuck yeah.
Depth. Come on.
Yeah.
Can we play
All
a
right, Franco.
I'm
I'm in a similar situation to Chris. Already own Just Cause 3.
Same.
All right, and here's I would after that I would go with Tomb Raider, but Tomb Raider is on Xbox. The second Tomb Raider of the new one, actually, I think the first two are on Xbox Game Pass. I've already told you that you should have Xbox Game Pass, so you should have that. So you should be able to play the first two, and I already have Just Cause 3, so I'm going to go with Depth.
Matthew?
Oh yeah, I mean I already have Just Cause 3. I didn't like it as much as you did.
Really?
I don't think that. Maybe I just don't. I've seen you play that game for
That's true.
hundreds of hours. So like,
Sure. We
I
were
just like
together at
walked
the
by. So like, and you would just be always playing that game, and then you moved here, you're still playing that
I
game.
haven't played that game in a while.
I was here. I feel like the last time I was here, it has been a while
Maybe
since
a
I was
year
here
ago.
though.
But it does matter. Go on.
But all three of the Tomb Raider games, you gotta go with it. That's so cheap.
you can get the entire trilogy for under $50.
Yep, right now. Yeah.
Not a bad decision if you're looking to just crush
Grab all three of
in a
them,
row.
and you got at least an entire month. You don't have to watch any TV. Come right home from work, and like this is going to
Cancel your Nerdflix and your Hulu.
Yeah, for a whole week, for a whole month.
And you can get the game. You can be the real. What's the word for good with money? Frugal gamer, elite gamer, and we truly do live in a society. Bottom text. All right, my choice for this week is definitely going to be Shark Chomp. Depth. Get deep in the chomp. That shark looks like he's having a great fucking time. His soul is white eyes, which apparently sharks have, I guess. My thing about this game is it looks like it walks that line of like, this looks ridiculous because we didn't care about things that aren't important, and we cared a lot about the fun stuff. Kind of like Blacklist, which is not on sale, but it's down there. Like where you're hammering away and hitting nothing, but it fixes the ship. I think they're going to ham it up just right, and for $5, I will chomp on your asses on the internet.
Chomp.
We should stream.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can we play Shark v Shark? Or is
And
it
if it's
always-
multiplayer, we can multiplayer this too.
It is multiplayer. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it is.
But how many?
That is
I'm gonna
my
have to get
pick.
Today's deal for 45 more hours. So build the.
That's it. I'm getting chomp.
Also called
I'm
Depth.
still gonna recommend the fuck out of Just Cause 2 and 3, even if I don't even know if 2 is on sale. Just do it. I'm gonna recommend the fuck out of all 3 of those Tomb Raider games, and I'm definitely picking up Depth.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
copping
about
out.
to-
I'm not making a pick. I literally might buy Just Cause 3 again because it's only $3 and I don't have it on PC.
Go into depth. I might go into debt to build a PC so that I can play Depth. That's how awesome this game looks.
Jesus Christ. Just the automatic weapons underground. Really effective.
Underground,
The
underwater.
idea of playing as a shark,
Underground. too.
Mole shark.
just eating your friends.
Shark mole.
Shark mole.
Shark.
They already have that,
Potato.
and it's a documentary called Tremors. So
Oh my god.
thanks everybody for joining us for another episode. Thank you,
Excellent.
Matt, for,
thanks for
jumping
having
in
me.
with us. Welcome anytime, of course. But always remember to not never forget, but keep in your mind and put a string on your finger.
And Dick.
Cock 'em, lock 'em, and rock 'em, baby. Chomp, 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 chomp.